But as we were filming at the club, Paul Golding, the leader of the far-right group Britain First, turned up after recording his own video in support of the booing fans, maximising the opportunity it's provided.
Black Lives Matter is an anarchist, communist movement that seeks the destruction of family values, the dismantling of capitalism, and seems to blame white people for every problem that has ever existed. Black Lives Matter seeks to push drug-abusing armed robbers like George Floyd to the top of the agenda while ignoring other victims of terrorism or race hate like Lee Rigby or Charlene Downs. Throughout the whole of summer 2020, Black Lives Matter and their fellow sewer dwellers, Antifa, looted, burned, rioted and trashed their way across the Western world, destroying livelihoods and businesses. Black Lives Matter demands the total defunding of the police, leaving ordinary citizens completely unprotected from violence and crime. Black Lives Matter is pushing all manner of loony left-wing policies and ideas, completely intent on turning prosperous Western nations like Britain and America into communist slums like North Korea and Venezuela. Back in the summer, Black Lives Matter vandalised the statue of Winston Churchill in Parliament Square and then tried to set the cenotaph on fire. They also demanded the removal of statues across the country that celebrate British historical figures simply because they are, quote, offensive to BLM's anti-white, anti-Christian agenda. Black Lives Matter is a calculated attempt to instill a false white guilt into our people, especially our young folk, so that they are ashamed of their nationhood and ethnicity. I cannot speak for you, but I am sick and tired of this race-baiting, far-left extremist movement trying to hijack sport, family TV and spread its Marxist poison into every area of society. Just behind me is the famous Den, the home ground of Millwall Football Club. Yesterday, the patriotic fans of Millwall booed heavily when their players got on one knee to celebrate the anti-white, far-left extremist agenda of Black Lives Matter. Immediately, the establishment swung into action with an avalanche of condemnations and howls of shock and horror. The fake news media denounced Millwall fans as primitive racists, unable to appreciate the far-left extremism of Black Lives Matter. However, judging by the comments on endless newspaper articles and posts across social media, the British people applauded Millwall fans for booing Black Lives Matter. I am absolutely certain the British people are sick and tired of being spoon-fed a daily diet of embarrassing bowing and kneeling to a pernicious ideology of destruction, vandalism, anarchism and racism against white people. All summer, we have had to put up with football players being pressured and threatened into taking the knee in support of BLM in empty stadiums. Now that football fans are allowed to return to the terraces, we are seeing a grassroots backlash against this cringeworthy display of self-loathing and white guilt. I think I can say on behalf of all British patriots, including football fans, that the establishment can shove their white guilt up their backsides. Likewise, Black Lives Matter can take their communism, their hatred of Britain and our culture, their loathing of traditional family values, their demands to defund our police, and their desire to loot our businesses and vandalise our historical monuments. They can take all of that back to North Korea where it belongs. The Britain First movement stands in solidarity with the fans of Millwall and every other football club where the fans give the proverbial middle finger to Black Lives Matter and their race-baiting anarchism. My message to all football fans is this: at every match where your players are bullied into taking the knee, make sure you howl your disapproval of such embarrassing behaviour. Millwall have led the way. Now I hope that the fans of all football clubs follow suit.